I couldn't make an emotional hire. This had to be based off of research, based off of connections across the country, and then based off of the people that I um, rely on, which is Coach D'Antonio and Coach Izzo.
And in this world, it's tough to keep that clandestine. I don't know if your police background helps, but I mean, Urban Meyer was hired here for 3 days, and everyone was convinced. You had to sift through all that and keep it quiet, didn't you?
I did, and what I wanted to do was never publicly talk about any candidate or anyone. So I kept that consistent, and it was important for me to stay that way, whether it was the person you just mentioned or someone else. I never wanted to publicly talk about anyone. And to be honest, our local media and those that cover us didn't hound me. I could sit in press conference at away games and at home when Coach Barnett was up there, and I wasn't getting hounded about a bunch of questions, and so that helped as well.
You've probably been asked about this, but I'm wondering the amount of time that you had to conduct research. How did that play out? How beneficial, I guess, was that? How did that change things compared to other searches you've been part of? Just a long runway that you had.
Stephen, it was very beneficial because what I explained earlier is at the last search, we had probably 6 or 7 days, and the only time we spoke to the candidates is when we flew out there for 2 hours. This time I had multiple conversations, not only with Jonathan, but others, and then I had 8 weeks of research. I looked at YouTube videos of press conferences. I looked at game film. I found every article I could find and how people were talking about these candidates, and this guy he floated to the top and he just stayed there.
Do you remember sort of when he floated to the top, I guess, or a ballpark of when you sort of really liked him?
What I want to do is protect, him and his time at Oregon State. But these were multiple conversations. These were multiple Zoom calls. Getting to know him as a person, talking about things that are personal to each of us, and there was a moment that the light switch clicked on, and I said, I have to go after. So Stephen, to your question, we had 3 final candidates. We ended up going to see Jonathan first. Then I saw someone else next. I canceled the third one because I said there can't be any more time. He is our guy. And so we didn't go see a third person. I went after him 100%.
You probably were asked this, but without having, he has no sort of Midwest, Michigan State, Big Ten ties. Was that concerning to you, or how did you get over that? How do you convince you
initially
that wouldn't be?
Initially it was, but once you meet him, this guy connects with people. Like, he'll come here and he'll be here for 6 months and you'll think he's been here his entire life. Like, he's a blue-collar guy. He's not into a lot of flashy things. We talked about our resources that we were going to provide. And to be honest, he was like, I don't need that much. I don't need that many personnel, and so it was refreshing to hear his take on not only just football, but just life in general.
You mentioned the light bulb
Last
moment.
one, do I got bullet?
You mentioned the light bulb moment. What was it after watching film of him on the field and off the field?
It was the criteria. It was the coaches we've hired over the last 2 years. It was Tom Izzo. It was, how does this person fit into what we're doing here? It's really not about going to get a coach out there that has a winning record, that's a good recruiter. It's really important for our community to have somebody that fits in, especially the head football coach is kind of one of the profile people of our community. And so he had to be someone that people could attach themselves to.